And hello, everybody, and welcome to Ottawa, Ohio. We are in Putnam County, and quite a little trek up here this afternoon, Duane.
Yeah, I'm glad you told me where it was at, because I would have never believed you. It was close to 2 hours from Darke County, but got a good crowd here and a great evening to play football, and it should be an exciting time here.
And it is homecoming here for the Titans, and I've been busy trying to get things. Had a few technical problems, but got them worked out, and I've been busy with that. I didn't see who actually was crowned. We'll try to get that at halftime for you as well. We tried to just be as courteous to the host school as they have been to us, and allowing us to come up here to videotape this game for replay, to bring it to you for those in Celina, Minster, and Versailles on Adelphia cable, and also in Greenville, the Time Warner system, Greenville Public Access Television. It's the Ottawa-Glandorf Titans hosting the Celina Bulldogs, and Duane, kind of an interesting matchup. OG, and I'm sorting through my information, and I think I left some out in my van, obviously. I had the state rankings as well as the regional polls as well, but OG comes into tonight's contest. They are 5-0 overall, 4-0 in the Western Buckeye League. Celina standing at 3-2 and 2-2 in the WBL. One of the wins for Celina. You watched that game, the opening game of the year against the Greenville Green Wave, and Celina has, from what I have been able to gather, has vastly improved from that contest. A big win last week against Lima Bath.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting just to see how far along Celina has, come, made the progression as, from the beginning of the season to where they're at right now, and definitely should see some, some differences in their play. And, not knowing a lot about Ottawa and what they can do, other than they are ranked in the state, so they've got to be a pretty solid ball club. And like you said, homecoming here. It's an exciting night for the community and the town and for the players. And so it should be a very interesting matchup and a very competitive ball game this evening.
And as you can see, we were coming up, getting ready to set up. We were looking at Ottawa-Glandorf, and I glanced down and saw Celina. I said, I really like those road uniforms, the white tops with the black and green trim. Yeah,
I know we went north from Darke County, but it looks like we're even into Canada in the CFL. So it takes you back to some of the Canadian Football League and uniforms that you maybe not traditionally see. So yeah, it's nice to see a different uniform, that's for sure. We're
in Northwest Ohio, but not quite in Canada. We are just about ready for the opening kickoff here tonight from Ottawa, Ohio. Duane Warvel and myself, Mark Bixler, will be back with that kickoff in just a moment. This event brought to you by the Made Right Sandwich Shop at 125 North Broadway in Greenville. The Ansonia Lumber Company, 300 South Main Street in Ansonia. Greenville National Bank in Greenville, Ansonia, Gettysburg, Arcanum, and Bradford. Cox Insurance Agency, R.B. Cox Agency in Ansonia, Vinoy Cox Insurance Agency in Greenville. Homestretch Sportswear in St. Henry and Wapakoneta. By Montage Cafe on South Broadway in Greenville. And by M. Bixler Video Productions. For more information on underwriting, contact us. We are back here at Ottawa, at Ottawa-Glandorf High School. The Titans getting ready to kick off, and Duane, kind of an interesting setup. We are not in a position where we can see our monitor. He is upstairs. We are down on the first level of the press box, so that's the first time we've had that happen since we've been doing this, but I kind of like it.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we're in the penthouse or what. We're by ourselves, so I'm not sure how we would rank there, but yeah, it is a different setup, but kind of nice, all kinds of room here.
Well, that took a high bounce and goes back into the end zone, and of course in high school it cannot be returned once it crosses the end zone. So the Bulldogs will set up 1st and 10. Celina coached by Mike Fell. And the And the Titans are coached by Ken Schreiner.
Well, we've gotten some much-needed rain over the last couple days, and it definitely hasn't hurt the field any. The field looks in great shape.
And they said they got a lot of rain up here as well. We got a lot, probably over 3 inches down in Darke County as the Bulldogs, that is off tackle, right side, and it looks like they're going to have a pickup of a couple, maybe just a yard. We'll call it a yard. So 2nd down and 9 for Celina. Hurricane Isidore doing its damage down in Louisiana, Mississippi, and the shore of Alabama as well. I had, living in Huntsville, or just outside of Huntsville in Athens, we had a hurricane that was so fast moving it was still a hurricane when it got over 300 miles north. And that's quite interesting to live through that. Well, the pass, they're going deep, and it is going to be caught. Joe Caney with that pass, and it is complete to number 82, Brandon, or rather Tim Homan with that reception. From the 21 out to the 45-yard line.
Well, a lot of things went right there, Mark, on that particular play. Protection for the quarterback was outstanding. The quarterback put the ball exactly where it needed to be, and the receiver did an outstanding job of pulling that reception in. That was nowhere by any means an easy reception to make.
Well, they actually mark it at the 46, so it's actually a pickup of 25 on the play. 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs. Out of the shotgun, Caney takes it, hands it off, first back through, number 6. That's Corky Lau. And we may have a number change. I'm not going to say positively. We're just going to have to listen and see. But nonetheless, it was number 6 that carried the ball. Running so tight, I didn't get a chance to go down onto the field to get numerical changes.
Well, we've got a West Coast set here with 5 receivers.
Caney back to pass, going deep. And it is going to be incomplete. Looked like it was deflected and nearly caught. Actually, deflecting that was Kyle Snyder for the Titans, and nearly coming up with it for the Bulldogs was number 20, Brian Gagel.
So far, Mark, you know, you've been around me long enough. I really like to see the different formations and for the defense to see different looks, and so far Celina really has done that. They've provided some different looks so far.
3rd down and 9 for the Bulldogs. This is our farthest trek north. Last year we came up and for the basketball season on Greenville Public Access Television and did St. Henry at Kalida, but this is our farthest trip. Caney back to pass. It is deflected. Number 72 with that deflection, Ryan Felke. And it'll bring up a 4th down for the Bulldogs. They'll be forced to punt the ball away. As we said, OG standing at 5-0 on the year. They are 4-0 in the Western Buckeye League. The Bulldogs 3-2 overall. They are 2-2 in the WBL. 4th down and 9, and it looks like doing the punting. Maybe Tim Homan. We'll have to double check that. I see the 2, and I can't tell what the rest of the number is. And indeed it is Homan. Homan gets it off to the left, and it is picked up at about the 20-yard line by number 1, Nick Rui. And he's finally brought down at the 25-yard line. Actually, they're going to mark it at about the 26. So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Titans here on their first opportunity.
Really, we look at the temperature tonight, Mark. A very beautiful evening to be playing. 68 degrees. There's absolutely no wind blowing.
And looking out this morning, I didn't think that was going to take place.
No. Weather moved through, and it's a beautiful evening.
They give the first back through. He's stuffed at the line of scrimmage. The quarterback is Craig M. A loss of 2 on the play for the Titans. Second down and 12 for OG. Out of the shotgun, M.
Draw play.
Hands it off to, I'll have to check the number, but I get back to about the line of scrimmage, the original line of scrimmage, and that'll bring up, actually, no gain on the play. So it's still going to be third down and about 12 for the Titans.
I believe that was number 20 on the play.
M back to pass, being pressured, little screen. And they are going to get about 4 yards on the play, but it's going to bring up a fourth down. So it'll be fourth down and about 7. We'll call it a 5-yard pickup.
Both teams on their first possessions having to punt.
8.5 minutes remaining. It's a scoreless ball game. We're in the opening quarter of play. Looks like M also doing the punting chores. A low line drive kick, and that is going to be taken at about the 32-yard line. He turns it out to the 40-yard line and a loose ball, but they say he was down. Luke Larmore returning that out to about the 40-yard line, and that's where the Bulldogs will set up first and 10. Now, these two teams have both played Lima Bath, and OG had to score late in the ball game a couple of weeks ago to knock off Bath 13-10, while the Bulldogs handed Lima Bath a 20-14 defeat a week ago. First back through, and it looks like it's on the floor. On the, I'm like Alex Warner in his the Celina game, saying it's on the floor in the fumble. The Bulldogs lose it. It'll be OG football, and the first major turnover of the night has occurred. And boy, the Titans with outstanding field position here in the first quarter.
Kind of hard to see exactly what took place there, if it was a strip or a good hit, but the ball was on the opposite side of where we're at.
And hands the ball off to Luke Podest. Podest around the left end and finally brought down, but after the first down, he gets it across the 30 to about the 28-yard line. So about a 12-yard pickup for Podest. Mark Bixler along with Duane Warvel here tonight from Ottawa, Ohio. A Western Buckeye League matchup between the Bulldogs and Titans. Off tackle again, Dustin Ellerbrock carrying the ball around the right side. A pickup of 4. We will call it second down and 6. Ball resting at the Bulldog 24-yard line. Certainly glad to have you watching us here on Adelphia Cable, Channel 11 in Versailles, Minster and Celina, and also Channel 3 on Greenville Public Access Television on the Time Warner system there. A missed tackle as Luke Podest takes it around the left side, bursts through, and he is in for the score. But hold on, a penalty flag back at about the 20-yard line, and where that is taking place, that one may be coming back. And it is holding, actually a block in the back.
Close to the spot mark where actually he should have been brought down. He was hit about that area. Was not able to wrap him up.
Now, the way it was explained to me on the difference between the holding sign and the block in the back sign up. A holding sign is with the fist and the hand holding the wrist, and the block in the back is the open palm with the hand holding the wrist. So the way that was shown, we are going to assume that that was a block in the back.
Definitely had his palms open and wasn't holding a fist.
Second down and 11 for the Titans. Out of the shotgun, again, a West Coast offense. M back to pass, being pressured, and that one is going to be knocked down and nearly picked off by the Bulldogs. Number 18 was right there, Tyler Rolfs, but couldn't quite hang on. He was trying to walk the sidelines and measure where he was at there and try to catch the ball, and it falls incomplete. So that'll bring up a third down now for the Titans of Ottawa-Glandorf.
If Celina could hold them here, this would be huge with the field position that they gave them with the fumble.
Well, they recovered the fumble at the Bulldog 40-yard line. They got one first down, but have been shut down since. And boy,
nothing on the draw.
Luke Pottis stuffed at the line of scrimmage and actually loses a yard. So it's going to bring up fourth down and 12 and in four-down territory. If they tried a field goal, it would be nearly a 49-yard field goal, somewhere in that vicinity. But not going for that. They're going to go for the first down. In some pressure, but he breaks through, and he is going to, did he get it? He's pretty close. And where they mark it, I think he got it. Craig M scrambling for it, and they are going to bring the chains on.
Well, Mark, you were talking about just a hurricane in general. It's amazing the nice, gentle, light rain that we got in this area. And looking on watching the news and the telecast to see the destruction in Louisiana that was taking place, that allows us just to get a nice, comfortable, light rain, which we had.
And it is indeed a first down, so the Titans will remain on the move. Well, I mentioned that I was in actually a hurricane. I believe it was Opal, if I'm not mistaken. It came up through Gulf Shores and caused some damage in the Scottsboro area. That was my last year down in Alabama as the Titans make their way to the line of scrimmage. First and 10. M pitches it back. It's to number 5. That's Derek Patrick around the right side, and he bursts through inside the 5 down to about the 3-yard line.
Kind of feel like Bob Uecker. There's one pole here in my way. Can't see around. You've got the corner coverage.
I've got the corner. And I tell you what, driving in 80-plus mile-an-hour winds trying to get to work at 4:30 in the morning.
No, thank you.
And then trying to get inside our radio station, the radio station that I worked at, I had to use both arms to pull the door open. Carrying that in for the touchdown is Dustin Ellerbrock. A 2-yard run for the Titans. So with 5:18 remaining in the first quarter, carrying that in is Dustin Ellerbrock. And the Titans are up 6-0. They will kick the extra point as M will do the holding, and on to kick is, I'm not sure if that's 5 or it is good. It's number 35 doing the kicking, Troy Kaufman. So with 5:18 remaining, it is Ottawa-Glandorf 7, Celina nothing. Oliver Funeral Home, Greenville's only locally owned funeral home.
Brought to you by Gilbert Feller's Funeral Home, located on Albert Road in Brookville.
McCabe Painting Incorporated, professional service with guaranteed satisfaction. By Osgood State Bank, with locations in Osgood, Fort Laramie, Chickasaw, and Lakeview. Family Health of Darke County, located in Greenville, Versailles, Arcanum, and New Madison. By State Farm Insurance, your local agent, Jim Gable, East Main Street in Greenville.
And businesses and individuals can help underwrite the events that M. Bixler Video Productions airs. Contact us.
Well, for the second time tonight, as we welcome you back to Ottawa-Glandorf High School. The Titans will be kicking off to the Bulldogs. They kicked off to open the game, and now after scoring at the 5:18 mark, Hellerbrock taking it in from 2 yards out. They lead at 7-0. Taking it about the 8, and it is a reverse, as you pointed out, as Luke Larmore takes that from, we believe, Corky Lau. And it's just shy of the 20-yard line. Actually, they mark it. It looks like it's going to be about the 17-yard line. First and 10, the Bulldogs will have it deep in their own territory. Mark Bixler being joined by Duane Warvel here tonight, and our camera operator upstairs is Mike Sees. Caney, the pass is complete. With that reception is number 18, Tyler Rolfs. Rolfs nearly had an interception that would have been devastating to the Titans. They would not have scored if he had been able to come up with that, at least on that particular drive. Caney again back to pass, and this one is a bit overthrown. Intended for number 82, Tim Homan. Well, we have been in some pretty nice press boxes this year, and this is certainly one of them. Some minor flaws, but nothing major. Second down and 10 for the Bulldogs. Caney hands the ball off. Busted through, and he is still going into Titan territory at about the 47-yard line. Corky Lau. A big gain for the Bulldogs on that one. And it'll be first and 10 at the Titan 47-yard line.
Nearly went all the way.
Caney again hands the ball off, and Lau this time takes it around the left side and gets it across the 45 to about the 43-yard line. So a pickup of 4 on the play.
Corky is a senior, 5'8", 145 pounds.
4:10 remaining. We are in the first quarter of play. The Titans of Ottawa-Glandorf leading Celina 7-0 as we step out of Midwest Athletic Conference play once again this week. Next week we'll be back in the MAC as Caney pass, and it is incomplete. Intended for Homan. We will be at Whole Field in Versailles, where the Tigers will host New Bremen. Then in week 8, Alex Warner and Ty House will be behind these microphones as Greenville will host Northmont. And then Duane and I will be back for week 9 and 10. Week 9 will be back in Versailles when they host St. Henry. And week 10 we will be at Coldwater when they host the Blue Jays of Delphos St. John's. Caney on a keeper, and he is dropped for about a yard loss. And that's going to bring up a 4th down. Make it 4th down and 7 for the Bulldogs. And it looks like Celina will be punting it away.
Well, Celina's had 3 possessions so far, Mark, and on the first one they punted, the second one they fumbled, and here's number 3 lining up for a punt.
We want to welcome some new sponsors on board. I try to do that when we have some new sponsors coming on board. College Prospects of America and Rod Hale, the area director. I want to welcome them on board. Also Shelley Lynn, an up-and-coming singing sensation from the Dark County area. And also Dick Hill Insurance Service Incorporated. We want to welcome them on board as well. Well, the Bulldogs, after the 5-yard penalty, they will get the punt off, and it is a rocket, and it is going to bounce into the end zone. I tell you what, that landed 1 yard outside of the end zone, and it rolled dead 1 yard inside the end zone.
That's about as good as you can get, Mark. Just needed it to lay up. If that was a chip shot, just a ball short.
In golf, that would have been a great shot.
Yes. That probably
other than a hole-in-one. He was shooting for the corner, didn't quite make it, but nearly got it to end at the 1 yard line. But instead it rolls inside. It is a touchback, and the Titans carry it.
Number 24.
Number 24, and don't have a 24.
Number 20, Mark.
Okay, that is number 20, and that is Luke Pottist. So a pickup of, we'll call it 6 on the play. Second down and 4 for the Titans. We are approaching the 2-minute mark here in Ottawa, Ohio. Carrying that ball is number 46, and he has more than enough for the first down out across the 30. In fact, they mark it at about the 35-yard line as Dustin Ellerbrock with that carry.
Very solid back, going close to 200, 209, 210 pounds. Very strong.
Got a pickup of 9 yards.
Those fullbacks like to get the ball every once in a while.
1:45 remains here in this opening quarter of play, and Ellerbrock a little counter. And he's stuffed at the line of scrimmage. Got maybe a yard, but that's it. We'll call it a yard pickup. It'll be second down and 9 for the Titans. Well, some interesting matchups tonight in the Midwest Athletic Conference. Minster travels to New Bremen. Versailles at Marion Local. Parkways at Coldwater. Fort Recovery is at Adelphia St. John's, and St. Henry in their non-conference game during the MAC schedule at Lima Central Catholic. And carrying that ball is number 20, Luke Pottist. Nearly burst through the line and actually picks up about 8. So third down and 1 for the Titans.
I know, Mark, this is a big game because we have 2 different camera crews from different local stations here covering this game.
And my guess they are probably from Lima as Ellerbrock carries that for the first down as we are under 30 seconds.
The game, quite honestly, is moving along rather quickly in this first quarter.
4-yard pickup, and we'll call it actually a 5-yard pickup. So the ball's resting at the 49-yard line of Ottawa-Glandorf. And the pass, it is complete. Little shake and bake, and he gets the first down, and we'll have to check the number. Did a nice move defense or offensively. Nick Rui with that catch.
Very nice catch, and then after the reception, Nice spin move to pick up an additional 2 yards for a first down.
So about an 11-yard pickup. And that is going to end the first quarter of play. And after 1 quarter of play, it is Ottawa-Glandorf 7, the Celina Bulldogs nothing.
This event brought to you by the Made Right Sandwich Shop at 125 North Broadway in Greenville. The Ansonia Lumber Company, 300 South Main Street in Ansonia. Greenville National Bank in Greenville, Ansonia, Gettysburg, Arcanum, and Bradford. Cox Insurance Agency, RB Cox Agency in Ansonia, Vinoy Cox Insurance Agency in Greenville. Homestretch Sportswear in St. Henry and Wapakoneta. By Montage Cafe on South Broadway in Greenville. And by Bixler Video Productions. For more information on underwriting, contact us.
Back in Ottawa, at Ottawa-Glandorf High School, the Bulldogs of Celina trailing OG 7-0 as we are just moments away from the second quarter getting underway. Ball resting at the 40-yard line. Hands the ball off, and it's Ellerbrock carrying it, and he was stopped at the line of scrimmage, but lunged forward, and he's going to pick up about 3. So 2nd down and 7. Second quarter just underway, 11.5 minutes remaining. Mark Bixler joined by Duane Warvel here tonight. Hands the ball off, and breaking through is number 20, Luke Podest. He brings it to the near side, and he is going to be run out of bounds at about the 2-yard line thanks to a game saver, or actually a touchdown saver, Jeff Vondrell with that shove out of bounds. So a big pickup.
Yeah, it was a very impressive run. Picking his hole, being patient, and then accelerating into the flats, and had a really nice stiff arm, which allowed him to pick up probably another additional 8 yards.
That about a 36-yard pickup. I want to remind everybody that those of you watching, if you would, please let us know that you are watching us, periodically scrolling across the screen as that is handed off to the first back through. I believe it was Ellerbrock taking that. That is 2nd and goal. Need my binoculars from upstairs down here. I'm having a hard time. Looks like he got to the line of scrimmage, and that's about it. Have to watch it through this window here.
I think we're at the 4-yard line.
That's about where he was to begin with. So it's 2nd and goal from the 4. Gives it to Ellerbrock, and actually he keeps it. And he takes it in. I tell you what, he fooled the Celina defense like he fooled me, with the keeper. And the 4-yard run, and the Titans lead this at the 10:33 mark here in the second quarter, 13-0. Craig M. with that touchdown run. And on the kick for the Titans, Troy Kaufman, trying to make this a 14-point ball game.
Last time it didn't get over the crossbar very much.
And this time he makes it with plenty of room to spare. So with 10:33 remaining, Duane, the Titans have opened up a 2-touchdown lead now at 14-0. And the Bulldogs finding themselves.
They're in a tough situation right now. I've been impressed with Ottawa-Glandorf's offensive line. I think they've just overpowered Celina right now. And the running backs have done a very nice job of finding those holes and being patient, and then running with the ball and being very strong. Celina at this point in time has had 3 possessions and has not really got anything going. on any of those possessions.
Well, they've had a couple good pass plays, but
yes, they have.
Just have not been able to keep their drives going. Get a couple, 1 or 2 first downs, and then they'll come up with a penalty or a breakdown on the offensive, on the offensive front. And as Lyle takes that, and he returns it out across the 20-yard line to about the 26-yard line, I believe is where they're going to mark it. Maybe the 27. So the Bulldogs will set up 1st and 10.
And really, they've had 2 pretty nice receptions, 25-yard reception and a 10-yard reception. So when they have connected, they've picked up some very positive yardage.
Well, one thing Mike Fell would like to see is the Bulldogs put something together here in the second quarter to try and narrow the gap a little bit. Down by 2 touchdowns at 14-0 with 10:25 remaining. Caney on the keeper, turns it up around the right side. Gets it across the 30, so actually they're going to mark it at about the 31, so about a 4-yard pickup for Caney.
And actually that was an option play in which he just kept it. His second carry of the night. His first one was a loss of 1.
2nd down and 6 for the Bulldogs. As we said, next week we will be at Whole Field in Versailles, where the Tigers will host the New Bremen Cardinals. Be our first chance to look at either the Tigers or the Cardinals. And it is incomplete. Intended for Brian Gagel. So that'll be 3rd down now for Celina, 3rd down and 6.
Caney right now is 2 for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on the evening passing the ball.
9:40 remains here in this first half of play. Caney drops back to pass, and it is complete.
Oh, shit.
And let's see. Was he out of bounds?
Boy, he must have just been hugging that sideline, because that sure looked like a late hit.
It is enough for the first down, and apparently he had not gotten out of bounds yet. The ball at the 41-yard line of...
Very nice pickup and a much-needed first down for the Bulldogs.
Well, let's see if they can keep things going. Trailing, as we said, 14-0. Ball at the 41-yard line of Celina. Caney drops back to pass. Going deep, and Holman is the intended receiver, and it falls to the turf. And it'll be 2nd down and 10 for the Bulldogs. Mark Bixler, Duane Warvel here with you tonight from Ottawa, Ohio.
Bulldogs just need to put a couple of these possessions together where they can get a couple first downs and really kind of get something going. They haven't been out on the field a lot offensively. They need a couple positive plays here.
9:27, the clock stopped after that incomplete pass as Caney again out of the shotgun, and a West Coast offense by the Bulldogs. Caney being pressured.
Oh my.
And just throws it up for grabs, and it is going to be incomplete. Nearly coming up with that was number 8, T.J. Klausing.
You know, Mark, the way that was set up, it looked like maybe possibly, I have to say it again, an inside screen, but the way that developed, it almost looks like, the defensive line just got through on Celina.
It looked like it was kind of, as it was progressing, it looked like it may have been a screenplay, but there was no backs there to dish it off to. 9:20, 3rd down and 10. We're in the second quarter of play. Caney again drops back to pass, and this one falls incomplete, intended for number 20, Brian Gagel.
Once again, Celina is going to be forced to punt.
After getting a first down, it's 3 and out.
I really think if Celina could get a couple first downs, they could really get something going. It just kind of seemed to be spinning their wheels right now.
9:14 remains. We are in the second quarter of play. A 14-0 lead for the Titans of Ottawa-Glandorf here in Ottawa. And it's going to roll inside the 20 down to about the 16-yard line. And Duane, that's probably the worst field position that the Titans have had tonight.
I tell you, they nearly got a piece of that ball, though. They came at that punter very hard, very aggressive, and they were very close to blocking that.
Well, last week, as we said, Celina, a 2014 win over Lima Bath. And we haven't mentioned the fact that Ottawa-Glandorf remained undefeated with a 26-0 win over the Van Wert Cougars. M hands the ball off, and it's to the first back through, and he gets it out across the, well, they get it, they're going to mark it at about the 25-yard line, so about a 9-yard pickup, we'll call it.
And you know, Mark, both teams have played a common opponent with the score being a little different, but it's really hard to look at those scores because some teams just match up well.
I was going to say, that was with my brother-in-law being an ex-football coach here in Ohio, now down in Florida as an assistant, but being Dan Cox, but that was one thing that he tried to, when I was just starting into football, doing football games, as that is, M's pass is complete.
Nice bootleg run by Ottawa.
And it is to about the 34-yard line, rather, so about a 9-yard pass completion. But that was the one thing that he pointed out to me was teams match up against teams differently. And you can't go by final scores and how a team fares against another team and common opponents. Now the first back through, I believe that is Ellerbrock. A pickup of a couple. Second down and 8. 7:45 remains here in this second quarter of play. Nice crowd as both schools, the Titans, of course, you would expect being their homecoming, a nice crowd, standing room only on that side. And tell you what, the Bulldogs, a nice presence from their fans as well. Carrying the ball is Luke Pottist. And he has the first down across the 45. On a 7-yard pickup.
And so far, this being the 6th week of football, we've had some really nice weather.
Absolutely. Last year, this week was kind of not a weekend that I want to remember. Or maybe that was next week. I'm not sure. That is a pass that is complete, and it's to Nick Rui. Gets it to about the 36-yard line.
I think one thing Nick does, real nice is his hands. He gets his hands out away from his body and catches the football and doesn't allow the football to get in close to his chest. Several times he's come up with some really nice receptions.
Not about a 17-yard pickup on that one.
And
so
both times he's picked up positive yards after the catch.
He has 2 completions for about 28 yards. That is a pitch. Pottas takes it around the right side as he cuts it up, and he manages to pick up about 2 or 3 on the play. Across the 35 to the 33. We're actually going to say about a pickup of 4 on that one. Second down and 6. Clock continues to roll as we are now under 6 minutes remaining here in this first half of play at Ottawa-Glandorf. The Titans hosting the Bulldogs here.
Well, I've seen a lot of missed tackles so far.
Hottest, he burst through about 3 tackles, and he's going to take it in for the touchdown. About a 33-yard run.
You know, you would expect some of that early in the season, but this far along, those missed tackles are really hurting Celina.
Luke Pottis, the touchdown run. And that makes it a 20-0 lead, and Duane, the Bulldogs, digging themselves a deep hole here early in tonight's contest. A new kicker, by the way, number 24. We'll get that name as that kick is up, and it is good.
Well, Mark, you know you can live with 14-0 or 14-7 or 6 or 3 at halftime and make some adjustments. But right now, Celina really needs to come through with a positive possession here and get something on the scoreboard with 5:38 left in the second quarter going into halftime to where they can settle down and make some adjustments. Because I really believe, not seeing Celina play yet this year, they've got to be a much better ball club than what they're showing up to this point in time.
Well, with the score 21-0, the Titans of Ottawa-Glandorf leading it with 5:38 remaining. Ottawa-Glandorf getting ready to kick off here after the touchdown, and a new kicker. It is Mitch Croy, I believe. We'll have to double check that. And that's not my handwriting. Actually, we had a new kicker, and someone came and gave us the information, but we'll double check that at halftime to make sure that is.
And we'll try to get you also the homecoming queen. And they did something a little different here. She was already crowned when she was marched out there, so
that is a little different.
Yeah,
a lot of schools do it during the football game, be it in pregame or halftime. Carrying the ball for Celina is number 31, Brady Boniface. Tell you what, he carried the ball quite a bit in the game against Greenville, but that's his first carry, if I'm not mistaken, here in tonight's contest.
Celina's thrown the ball quite a bit, and you know, throw or run, you want to try to put some positive points on the board. But the further you fall behind, kind of takes some of those options away from you.
Lau carries it. He is stopped after getting it across the 35-yard line out to the 37, so that about a pickup of maybe 3 on the play. 4:44 remaining here in this second quarter of play. A 21-0 lead for Ottawa-Glandorf over the Celina Bulldogs, and Duane, the Titans, proving why they are a state-ranked team and leading the Western Buckeye League here tonight.
You're exactly right, Mark, but I still believe Celina is a much better ball club than what they're showing us right now, and I just hope they can get something going here.
Caney hands the ball off to Lau, and he is stuffed at the line of scrimmage by a couple of Titans. Number 85 in on that stop, Ken Karhoff. And Jordan Hermler, I believe, was there, number 81, helping with the tackle as well for the Titans. 3:50 remains. Second quarter of play. Mark Bixler joined by Duane Warvel. And, of course, upstairs, our camera operator, Mike Sees. And the Bulldogs are electing to take a timeout, and with that, we will take a timeout as well. 3:39 remains here in the second quarter. It's Ottawa-Glandorf 21, the Celina Bulldogs nothing.
Oliver Funeral Home, Greenville's only locally owned funeral home. brought to you by Gilbert Feller's Funeral Home, located on Albert Road in Brookville. McCabe Painting Incorporated, professional service with guaranteed satisfaction. By Osgood State Bank, with locations in Osgood, Fort Laramie, Chickasaw, and Lakeview. Family Health of Darke County, located in Greenville, Versailles, Arcanum, and New Madison. By State Farm Insurance, your local agent, Jim Gable, East Main Street in Greenville. And businesses and individuals can help underwrite the events that M. Bixler Video Productions airs. Contact us.
Back in Ottawa, Ohio, the Celina Bulldogs trailing the host Titans of Ottawa-Glandorf 21-0, and a couple of scores we'll give you here momentarily, although by the time you watch this, you'll know what the final score is, but that's okay. The Bulldogs elect to punt as Nick Rui takes that, and he turns it up around the right side, breaks into the open. He's at midfield, or nearly gets to midfield. He was real close to breaking that one, Duane, as he returns it up to about the 48, 49-yard line. It looks like was where they're going to mark it. Well, right now, Versailles trailing Marion Local in their matchup. And also, St. Mary's Memorial is behind Kenton. Craig M, that quarterback, under center. Titans in the eye.
Oh, boy.
M back to pass. He has Rui wide open, and he's got it. Touchdown. A 51-yard TD pass.
Mark, I think he could have gone either direction on that play. Both defensive backs bid on the pump fake, and both receivers were wide open. Again, Rui has made now, Mark, do you have him for 3 receptions?
3 receptions.
And that last one gives him an average of an awful
79 yards on 3 receptions.
That's awful good.
And at the 3:16 mark, Duane, Celina has, how do I want to say this? It's a huge hole. Roy's kick is good. 3:16 remains.
Well, and right now you're trying to be positive and trying to, see what kind of pride you have and continue to play as hard as you can, Celina.
Craig M to Nick Rui on that 51-yard pass, and it is a 28-0 ball game. When I worked at WIFE in Connorsville, Indiana, we had a ball game that it was 7-0 after 1 quarter of play, and the halftime score was 49-21. The final score was 84-49.
Uh-oh.
Well, that time getting outside is number 20, Brian Gagel, and he is brought down, and maybe the touchdown pass from M to Rui was what has woken the Bulldogs up. Is there a word woken? Or is that a Bixlerism?
Well, hopefully that can get Celina going.
28-0 with 3:06 remaining. The Bulldogs needing to get something positive here before halftime. Haney on the keeper, on the option as he faked the handoff to Boniface, and Duane, the Titans bid on that a little bit.
Yeah, they've run that option play probably 3 or 4 different times, and the quarterback has kept it all 3 times. The pitch man has been taken away by the defensive back.
We'll call it a pickup of 4, 2nd down and 6 for the Bulldogs. Lyle takes it up the middle, first back through, and he just keeps churning away and gets it to about the 30-yard line. So it's going to be just shy of the first, about 2 yards, maybe 3 yards shy. We'll call it 2. So it's going to be 3rd down and 2 for the Bulldogs. Well, Celina would like to improve their record to 4-2 and give the Titans of Ottawa-Glandorf their first loss of the season. But right now, they've got a huge hole to dig themselves out of, trailing 28-0 with 1:45 remaining.
Oh, block.
That is tipped, and it's going to drop incomplete. It's going to bring up a 4th down, and Mike Fell in a position that with 1:43 remaining, he's in 4-down territory right here.
I believe he's got to go for it here.
Joe Keeney waiting on the play. Out of the shotgun. Keeney looks to pass, in some trouble, and he is going to go down. And that's going to bring up, well, it's going to actually turn it over on downs. A couple of scores here. It is Kenton leading St. Mary's 22-0, and Bath and Defiance in a defensive struggle at the half. It's a scoreless ball game. Or that is at Bath. Well, it'll be 1st and 10. 1.5 minutes remains here in this first half of play. Pottis. As he takes it up the middle, and looks like no gain on the play. Well, that Pottis name, Duane, being a Dark County, from Dark County, that's a familiar name for people around Versailles.
And also Arcanum.
2nd down and 10 as we are under the 1 minute mark here. M to pass, has some time, and it is complete to Ellerbrook. He rumbles to midfield.
Pretty big boy to bring down when he gets a little momentum and steam going at 210 pounds.
Got a 17-yard pickup. I'll tell you what, they have mixed up.
Ottawa-Glandorf with a timeout here with 46 seconds to go before halftime in the 2nd quarter.
The Titans have done a nice job of mixing up their pass with the rush. And that, to a certain extent, Duane, has set Celina on their heels a little bit.
Well, and you look at some of your statistics so far in the first half, a lot of different people has, really touched the ball, been a part of the offense. Definitely an offense that to scout and to prepare for, gives you a lot of different looks and a lot of different options.
I have Craig M as being 6 of 9 passing, and he's very selective in when he passes, when he throws, and a lot of the times the throw is there.
Yes. It's not like the ball's getting away from him or floating way over the receiver's head. He's been pretty accurate tonight. And tonight, is just a great evening to be throwing the ball anyhow with no wind. I mean, the flag is just laying there on the pole.
Of course, the weather passing through earlier today and clearing out late this afternoon, or the middle of the afternoon, as M
needs to get out of bounds.
Turns it, and I tell you what, number 85, Ken Carhorf, he laid a block on number 39, Ethan Swaney, to allow him to pick up about 6 yards. Another timeout taken with 32 seconds remaining. About a 6-yard pickup, by the way, by him. Check that, it was not him, it was rather Podest. $28-0 is the score, and that is thanks in part to 3 touchdown runs here in the second quarter by the, 2 runs and 1 pass here in the second quarter by the Titans.
You know, Mark, and every evening on our way to the different facility, we talk about the game and each team's personnel. And, you know, I would never have thought at halftime it would be 28-0 and really a possibility of another score here.
32 ticks remains. We are in the second quarter of play. Is out of the shotgun. M drops back to pass, and it is caught. It is a first down. So about a 7-yard pickup.
I really look for Nick Rui here to get his hands on the ball.
And he just downs it with 25 ticks left. It'll be second and 10 for the Titans. Ball resting at about the 39-yard line of of Celina. OG with possession.
Don Martin. We have Don Martin Jr. with us here in the press box. We'll be meeting you at the concession stand on the home field side. Don Martin, please meet at the concession stand for Don Martin Jr.
Again, back to pass. M, little flare as he hits Rui. Rui runs to the outside. He turns the corner, and he's tripped up. With 15 seconds remaining, is coming up with that tackle, Brian Gagel.
And I just had a feeling that he was going to touch the ball again. He's got some very nice soft hands, and then he has very nice speed to accelerate once he catches the ball.
So I believe that was about 26 yards on that pickup.
OG will down the ball to stop the clock. 13 seconds to go here.
Well, they have moved the ball down the field as they took over at about the 35, thereabouts anyway. 35-yard line, and it'll be second down and 10. And with 13 ticks remaining on the clock, you got to think they're probably going for the end zone. M back to pass, being pressured, and he is going to be stopped with 7 seconds.
That's a big play.
Ottawa-Glandorf electing to take the timeout with 6 seconds. As coming on to kick is number 35, Troy Kaufman. They are going to attempt a field goal. And looks like they're going to spot it at about the 26-yard line. So that'll be about a 36-yard kick by Kaufman. M will do the holding. Snap, M gets it down, the kick is up, and it is going to be way short. So with 1 second remaining, Celina will get the ball at their own 20-yard line. I like that. The announcer said just short.
Yeah, you didn't have to say that it was short by 30 yards or anything like that. It was just short. Very impressive first half, though, by
the Titans, no question. They are showing why they are a team that is ranked in the state and right now leading the Western Buckeye League. Caney back to pass. It is complete. And Gagel slips and falls. He gets the first down out to the 35, so a pickup of 15 on that reception. But it ends the first half. After one half of play here in Ottawa at Ottawa-Glandorf High School, the Titans of OG leading the Bulldogs of Celina 28-0.
This event brought to you by the Made-Right Sandwich Shop at 125 North Broadway in Greenville. The Ansonia Lumber Company, 300 South Main Street in Ansonia. Greenville National Bank in Greenville, Ansonia, Gettysburg, Arcanum, and Bradford. Cox Insurance Agency, RB Cox Agency in Ansonia, Vinoy Cox Insurance Agency in Greenville. Homestretch Sportswear in St. Henry and Wapakoneta. By Montage Cafe on South Broadway in Greenville. And by M. Bixler Video Productions. For more information on underwriting, contact us.
We welcome you back here to Ottawa, Ohio, Ottawa-Glandorf High School. It's halftime here. The Bulldogs of Celina against the OG Titans. And Duane, I have to say, a little bit of a surprise. I did not expect a 28-0 lead for OG at this point in the ball game.
No, and you know, Mark, you had the opportunity to see Greenville and Celina play, and you know, I didn't get to see Celina, and so I haven't been able to kind of judge their progression as the year has gone on. But I definitely thought that they would have shown a little more promise, you know, this evening than what they have. And I know they're a much better football team than what we've seen. They just haven't been able to put any drive together. And I really believe if they would, it'd really get some things going, because I know they're a much better team than what you know, they're showing right now. They've had 5 different possessions, and the first one they punted. The second one was pretty big. They had a fumble in which Ottawa-Glandorf turned around and scored on. Their third possession was a punt. Their fourth possession was a punt, and their fifth one was a punt. So they just really haven't been able to get anything positive going this evening so far. Rushing right now, they've got a total of 9 carries as a team, 9 carries in the first half for 43 yards. Throwing the ball, they're 3 for 12, and they have had 3 positive receptions. Number 82 had a 25-yard pickup, number 18 a 10-yard gain, and number 3 with a 7-yard gain. But you know, the fumble hurt, and really haven't been able to get anything going. And credit the defense this evening on stopping Celina.
Well, Ottawa-Glandorf don't just credit the defense. The offense has really come through for the Titans, and there's a lot of teams that would love to have a they'd love to have a game like the Titans have had in the first half. We had unofficially the Titans number 20, Luke Podest, with 11 carries. He's leading the way with 111 yards totally. 23 carries and 172 yards rushing tonight. And we had Craig M., 8 of 11 on passing here tonight. And some big receptions by Nick Rui, 4 receptions for 105 yards, over 25 yards per catch.
And that's just in the first half.
Absolutely, and 141 total yards in reception, and that totals total offense, both rushing and passing, 313 yards, and that's why I say a lot of teams would love to have that for a ball game, let alone a first half.
And you don't pick up those type of yardage and those plays in the air if a lot of good things aren't happening. The protection that the quarterback is getting to throw the ball. And, you know, Nick Rui, one thing he does nice is he makes some positive yards after he touches the ball, after he catches it. So I've been impressed with, you know, his ability to catch the ball, his hands, and then also his speed and doing things after the catch.
Well, what do the Bulldogs need to do in the second half to turn things around to get it back so they're back in the ball game? Well,
I'd really like to see him just get some confidence, because I know they can do some things offensively, but they've got to get a drive going, and they got to stick something in the end zone. And then defensively, they need to come out and they need to stop Ottawa-Glandorf on their first possession and get that offense back out on the field. And I'm sure the coaching staff is going to make some adjustments, but Ottawa-Glandorf, I'm impressed with just the different formations and the options that they have, getting people involved. That's a lot to stop. I mean, when you're in a position now that you're down 28-0, you're asking a lot to stop everything. I mean, you can pick and choose, your poison, but to stop everything, I think that's going to be pretty difficult right now.
And OG has done a really nice job of mixing things up offensively and running and passing and all of that. And how do you stop something like that when they're doing such a good job?
Well, they've got several different weapons. They have a nice mix where they have a scat back that can touch the ball and do some nice things. Their fullback is a nice, strong, 210-pound, running back. But, you and I have both seen him catch the ball in the open field and do some things positive there. And then they've got different weapons, to people they can throw to. So.
And you pointed out they've really done a nice job of mixing up their offensive settings as well. One time they'll come in a straight eye, and then the next time you'll see them, they'll be in a West Coast offense.
Right, and we've seen them even with one back, 4 receivers, and one back run a delayed draw. We've seen them run a screen out of it. We've seen a nice naked bootleg by the quarterback with the tight end coming back across the field for a positive gain. And then we've seen some deep routes in which the receivers have gotten deep on the defensive backs of Celina to making some positive yards there. So, it's a lot to take care of and make adjustments at halftime on trying to what are we going to stop? What are we going to go at first?
Well, some matchups, as we pointed out earlier in the Midwest Athletic Conference tonight. Minster's at New Bremen, another backyard rival game for the Wildcats after last week. Falling to Marion 42-21, the final score. So,
and Mark, watching them play last week, I feel so bad for the coaching staff because they have just had some key injuries, and you and I have talked about what that MAC league does when you get some kids that are key players and you get them injured, and how that hurts you because you look at where Minster is in the computer polls, and I'll still take that Minster ball club, and if you could get them healthy. Boy, I wouldn't want to play them later on. But, of course, they've got some key injuries where those kids aren't going to be healthy.
Well, another situation very similar, St. Henry, with Todd Beckman. And Nate Stahl's done a terrific job. But Todd Beckman is Todd Beckman.
Right.
And, you're talking about a young man that's going to play at Ohio State.
Yeah, you can't replace a kid like that, and you can't replace his leadership ability. And you know what? When he's not in there, you become pretty one-dimensional in what you're going to do if you're St. Henry. And you just feel bad for those coaching staffs and actually those teams because they're a much better ball club. People that just pick up the paper and read the final scores and have no idea of what's taking place, with certain kids becoming injured, it changes totally what you're trying to do.
Well, another game tonight, Versailles at Marion Local, and both of those squads with one loss in the MAC. And quite frankly, with Coldwater being undefeated and playing at home tonight against Parkway, you really can't afford another loss in the Midwest Athletic Conference.
You would surely expect Coldwater to win that ball game this evening. And Mark, I have just been so impressed with Marion Local, and I made mention when we had them, I believe, in week 2 or 3 against St. Henry. Week 3, that I wasn't sure how good Marion Local was, and I wasn't being negative in any way about that, but they've got the potential to be awful, awful good. And how good are they going to be? And I have just been so impressed with what they can do as a unit.
I really... quite frankly, and you and I have talked about this all along or throughout the season, and that first game in the playoffs, whether it be a Division 5 or a Division 6 game, it's usually not a ball game.
No, it's not. It's usually pretty much a rout. And you and I have talked about these computer points and, where teams are falling. And I told you on the ride up that I would take some of these teams out of the MAC that the middle level teams and take my chances with them. Sometimes they don't even make the playoffs, and they're some of the better teams in the area.
Right now in Region 20, Versailles is ranked 5th in Division 5, and in Region 18, Adelphia St. John's is ranked 3rd, and believe it or not, Marion Local is now not the top team in the computer polls. Covington and Mechanicsburg is at 7.25, but you want to know something? Marion Local would probably would beat either one of those schools at this point in the year.
And there's no question. Not only beat those two teams, I just think they would put some very positive points on the board. And that's not taking anything away from those other ball clubs, but Marion Local just has a very, very nice team, and they can do a lot as well.
And what I can't figure out is the fact that Marion Local was leading that region a week ago, and now all of a sudden they go from 1st to 4th.
Well, the competition that Marion Local or Coldwater or Versailles or any of these schools in the MAC are playing, and even look at the MAC's non-conference games.
Lehman?
If you're looking at Lehman Catholic as one of your easier games, I don't know what kind of schedule you got. I mean, that is just incredible. And
LCC, Lima Central Catholic, is another one of those schools that is on a lot of the Midwest Athletic Conference's schedule, the school's non-conference game. And what Coldwater did to LCC was just unbelievable. I mean, that 76-6 or whatever the score was, I can't remember for sure, but I know they laid it on them.
And you almost get punished because of the type of schedule you're playing. And really, the MAC doesn't have any choice there. I mean, the teams that are in that league are just so competitive and so good that it really takes a toll on you in a lot of ways. We talked a little bit physically, but it also really hurts you here with the computer points.
An option that is possible for the Midwest Athletic Conference is to admit a school such as maybe Lehman or LCC and or an Anna, or when Fort Laramie brings football on, which I think without a doubt Fort Laramie is going to add football. It's just a matter of when the school board finalizes everything. But whether you bring those schools on strictly in football and then break it down into a super conference for football and into 2 divisions. If they do that, that may help the Midwest Athletic Conference in getting more teams into the playoffs. Because if you remember a couple years ago, before Versailles joined the MAC, they had 5-6 teams in the playoffs.
Right, and I just think it's such an injustice to those young men and the coaching staff and just the community in general when I see a St. Henry that's 6-4 or maybe even 7-3 and they don't make the playoffs.
Versailles a year ago, 6-4.
I just don't understand that, and I don't see that. Of course, we see them play. We see the level of competition and the talent that they're playing against compared to, and it's nothing against any of these other schools, but when I look at a Troy Christian right now that's 4-0 and look at their schedule compared to some of these schools in the MAC, it's just apples to oranges, and I just think there's a real inequality there.
And something that I would not be opposed to, and that is to possibly go back to a 9-game regular season schedule, and then that 10th week everybody is in the playoffs.
Well, I can even see a couple of these MAC schools facing each other down the road in the playoffs.
Oh, there's no question.
So not only do you have to play each other once, you turn around and possibly have to play each other
in the first round of the playoffs, or maybe the second round, and that's a possibility. If Marion Local ends up winning their division in their region in the playoffs, they might have to play a New Bremen or a Minster or one of those schools in the opening round of the playoffs.
And we haven't even touched upon the revenue, the amount of money that a school can bring in, you know, a Covington in the CCC, what that does for that athletic department and the community, the shot in the arm that it is, it's just such a positive experience. And for some of these schools not to get an opportunity at that, sometimes just a real shame, especially when you see the first round games and the scores, and usually see the same thing year in, year out with those scores. Well, it is halftime here at Ottawa-Glandorf. The Titans of OG leading the Celina Bulldogs 28-20. We'll be back with the start of the third quarter in just a moment.
Oliver Funeral Home, Greenville's only locally owned funeral home. Brought to you by Gilbert Feller's Funeral Home, located on Albert Road in Brookville. McCabe Painting Incorporated, professional service with guaranteed satisfaction. By Osgood State Bank, with locations in Osgood, Fort Laramie, Chickasaw, and Lakeview. Family Health of Darke County, located in Greenville, Versailles, Arcanum, and New Madison. By State Farm Insurance, your local agent, Jim Gable, East Main Street in Greenville. And businesses and individuals can help underwrite the events that M. Bixler Video Productions airs. Contact us.
The Titans of Ottawa-Glandorf leading the Celina Bulldogs, and at least we have a name anyway. The King, Nick Kuhlman, the son of Alan and Teresa Kuhlman. The Queen, and that's what everybody really wants to know, Kendra Meyer, the daughter of Mike and Pat Meyer. I'd like to say congratulations to those two, and also to the families and Grandpa and Grandma and everybody else that's extremely proud of Nick and Kendra. No question, and a tip of the cap to Nick, because I'm going to be quite honest. 20 years ago, nobody's going to remember who was the king, but everybody's going to remember who the queen was. Well, unless Nick's going to remember. Nick, you'll remember that, and you can always tell everybody too. And you've got it on tape, hopefully, too, so you can prove it. Well, we are just moments away from the opening of the second half, and the Bulldogs hoping to get things started. They need to 3 and out on the Titans here on this first drive. Right, it's bad enough you're down 28-0, but you got to come out and you got to kick it to them, and definitely OG, you're telling your kids, come out and let's set the tone, and let's put the nail in the old coffin here and go right down and put one in the end zone. So, well, they came close to scoring late in the first half as they were moving the ball right down the field, but things kind of stymied toward the end of that drive, and attempting a field goal was Troy Kaufman, and he was short. About a 39-yard attempt? Or 36, maybe it was 36 yards. But he was well short. And that could have been a huge 3 points. Taken at the 21-yard line by number 23, Josh Fortman. Fortman takes it around the left side, still going. He's at the 40, and he's going to be brought down at about the 43-yard line as making that stop. Number 45, Paul Honey. And please accept my apologies. Paul Hoon. Please accept my apologies if I mispronounce a name. Certainly not done on purpose. Most of these names I know. Well, we have a penalty that's going to bring it back, apparently. A holding. Again, we've been very fortunate, Mark, to be at some very nice facilities all year long. And again, this is a nice one here, and the people have been very kind to us up here in the press box, helping us out with any of our needs with some of these names and programs and setup. Ellerbeck, rather Eller Brock. A big gain, and that's not what the Bulldogs needed. That a 20-yard pickup by Ellerbrock.
You know, for a young man that's 210 pounds, he is very agile. And his footwork is very, very good.
Well, we are at the 11.5-minute mark, so we are just underway here in the third quarter. As OG picks up an initial first down as M hands the ball off to Pottas. Pottas tripped up as he crosses the line of scrimmage down at about the 46-yard line. Pickup of a yard. It'll be second down and 9. Glad to be with you here on Adelphia Cable in Celina, Minster, and Versailles, and on Greenville Public Access Television on Time Warner in Greenville. As we said, we are making some changes for the upcoming basketball season, not doing what we did in football. As Ellerbrook gets it to the 49, so a pickup of about 3. Well, we did here in football, as you are very well aware, we did a game of the week for between the Adelphia systems and the Time Warner system. But in basketball, we're breaking it down and doing games specifically for Adelphia and specifically for Greenville Public Access Television.
Comes your bootleg again.
M rolls out right side. He is being pressured, and he is going to be flung out of bounds. Or did he stay in bounds? I haven't seen a signal to stop the clock. That is a huge loss.
Celina really needed that.
Loss of 4 on the play. It'll be 4th down and 12 for the Titans, and they will be forced to punt, and M will be doing so for only, is that his second or third punt? That's
second.
Something I don't
First possession,
keep track
both teams
of.
had to punt.
High snap, but he pulls it down and gets it off. Taken by Lau at about the 27-yard line, gets it across the 30 and is down at about the 32. Rui there to help on the stop for the Titans. Nine and a half minutes remaining here in this third quarter of play. A 28-0 lead for the Titans of Ottawa-Glandorf. We want to thank Dan Otten, the athletic director at Celina, as well as Mike Fell, and also the administration of the Bulldogs, school administration, and also Al Laubenthal, the AD here at OG, as well as the coach, Ken Schreiner, as that pass is complete. Still going is Lau into Titan territory, and finally brought down at about the 44-yard line. And Duane, that's a big play for the Bulldogs.
Sure is. Not sure here, Mark, 20.
Now 32. It's about a 25-yard pickup.
It's a good way to get started.
And they say a fumble, but they call it a fumble.
Oh, just as you get something positive going, you shoot yourself in the foot.
And it'll be Titan ball.
And Mark, I didn't see who ran that ball.
I didn't either. I was just going to look to see who was running when they said it was OG's ball after the fumble. Well, the Titans get a big break there with the fumble recovery, and now the Bulldogs would like to see something as Ellerbrook takes it on the counter. Still going, and is finally brought down at the 47-yard line. And that's going to be a pickup of about 6.
It's real tough to get something started when you have 6 possessions, and 2 of them you fumble, and the other 4 you have to punt on.
I'm going to have to get my glasses out. I have said Ellerbrook, and it's actually Ellerbrock.
Either way, he's had a very good evening so far.
And carrying it is Pottas. Pottas bursts through the line across the 45 down to about the 43-yard line. I mark it at the, we'll say the 44. First and 10 for the Titans. 8:10 remains here in this third quarter of play. 28-0. Titans leading this over the Bulldogs as Pottas breaks through, and he is going to be hogtied. Pottas brought down by Cody Hiley on first down. An official's timeout is taken. And they wind it back up as the clock begins to roll. 7:45 and counting down here in the third quarter. The Titans on the move. Out of the straight eye again as M takes it. Rolls out right side.
Oh my, what a
He
nice
has some room. And he may take it in for the score. He's going to be pretty close. He's going to be brought down, it looks like, at about the 3-yard line. Where do they mark it? Looks like they're going to mark it inside the 5.
You know, Mark, you watch that play, and it really looks like he should have been brought down behind the yard of scrimmage.
But somehow managed to work his way out and pick up of about 30 yards. First and goal from the 3 for the, actually the 4. Ellerbrook takes it in. So with 7:19 remaining, Ellerbrook with the touchdown run, making it 34-0. Mitch Croy on for the kick, the extra point. M will be the holder. Gets it down, it is up, and it is good.
Well, they have the luxury of having 2 kickers. One for the short attempts and one for the long attempts.
Well, with 7:19 remaining, it is Ottawa-Glandorf 35, Celina nothing.
This event brought to you by the Made-Right Sandwich Shop at 125 North Broadway in Greenville. The Ansonia Lumber Company, 300 South Main Street in Ansonia. Greenville National Bank in Greenville, Ansonia, Gettysburg, Arcanum, and Bradford. Cox Insurance Agency, RB Cox Agency in Ansonia, Vinoy Cox Insurance Agency in Greenville. Homestretch Sportswear in St. Henry and Wapakoneta. By Montage Cafe on South Broadway in Greenville. And by M. Bixler Video Productions. For more information on underwriting, contact us.
We are back here at Ottawa-Glandorf High School, 35-0. The Titans leading the Celina Bulldogs, and I like their homecoming theme, Titan Luau.
You know, with the weather like it is, with having a little moisture in the ground, we could have some fog tomorrow.
That's a good point.
And I'm sure all the kids are kind of bummed out about that.
That it falls on a weekend?
Yeah.
Well, picking it up is number 18, Tyler Rolse. He is going to be dropped right about where he picked it up. And the Bulldogs will set up first and 10 at their own 28-yard line. And Duane now with they really have their backs to the wall. They really need to get something positive going in a hurry.
They sure do. 7:13 to go in the third quarter. And you know, they started out well here this quarter.
Well, they started out well to start the ball game as well, but just have never really managed to keep anything going. Boniface carries it, the little counter. Right side, and gets it to about the 30-yard line. Pick up of a yard. It'll be 2nd down and 9 for the Bulldogs. Wayne, this has been a pretty fast-moving ball game.
Yes, it has. Haven't had too many penalties. Of course, we've had 2 turnovers in the game.
Haney.
Both of those turnovers resulting in touchdowns.
Under center, takes the snap, back to pass. It is blocked back, and it falls incomplete. Well, the Bulldogs, school with a lot of tradition. I can remember going back to the 80s, the early 80s, when Jerry Harris was the head coach of Celina. I believe it might have been was it about 1982 thereabouts. They made the playoffs and made a deep run into the playoffs. And you know, one year they fell to Brecksville 12-6. Of course, Mike Bath, a former quarterback at Celina, went on to play at Miami of Ohio. That is complete. Caney with the throw, Holman the reception, and he is close to the first down, but where they mark it looks like it's going to be a little shy. Up. Nope, they say it's a first down.
I believe that game was played at UD, wasn't it? Welcome Stadium?
The Brecksville game?
Trying to think.
They played, I remember one year they played Bellbrook. Or no, they played Alter at Troy Stadium.
I was thinking maybe they played Dublin Scioto or something like that one year at UD, Celina. Might have been when Bath was playing. Mm-hmm.
So that would have been there in the 90s. And another nice reception. Caney, it's complete to Tyler Rolfs, and another big first down. So maybe the Bulldogs will be able to keep this drive going as they are in OG territory, and this is where they've gotten bogged down, is after they get it into OG territory the entire night. .540 and counting down here in the third quarter. 35-0. OG leading this over the Bulldogs of Celina. Caney back to pass. Has some time.
Got him open.
Has Holman, and he has it.
Very nice catch. Very nice thrown catch.
And they are... It is complete down to about the 12-yard line. So that would be about a 30-yard pickup. Maybe a little more than that. Ball resting, as they say, at the OG 13-yard line with 5:25 remaining. Under center, Caney hands it off, first back through. Carrying it, number 45, Paul Hone. Pickup of about 3. It'll be 2nd down and 7 for the Bulldogs. Well, they've gotten down this far by throwing the ball.
Yeah, but right now that field really shrinks down.
I was going to say, that little flare, and Caney throws it behind his intended receiver. I believe that was Rolfs. And it'll bring up a 3rd down. 3rd down and 7. The clock stops on the incomplete pass. Well, Duane, it's getting a bit cool out there right now. Dropped down to about 61.
Just right for the football players.
Caney looks to pass. In some trouble, and he is going to be dropped. And I believe making that initial contact was Nick Beckman for the Titans. And Duane, that's going to bring up a 4th down for the Bulldogs. It's at the 10-yard line of OG. 4th down and about 8. Caney drops back to pass, has some time. And this one is going to be caught.
That had to be right on the back side of the end zone there.
Rolfs with the catch with 4:04 remaining. The catch after Caney's pass, making it 35-6. As on the kick is Brian Gaggle. The kick is blocked, and that is blow it dead, and the kick is no good. Well, they do get one positive out of it, Duane. They do get a score, although the
very much needed.
The extra point attempt is blocked. So with 4:04 remaining, Duane, it's the Titans of Ottawa-Glandorf leading it 35-6.
And who do we have on that touchdown reception again?
Rose, number 18, with that.
Very nice catch.
Joss, or rather Tyler Rose.
Actually, that, if I'm not mistaken, that possession, he had 3 different receptions, 20 and a 31.
I would say you are probably right.
And that one there.
Well, as we've said, next week we will be at Whole Field in Versailles, where the Tigers of Versailles will battle the Cardinals of New Bremen, our one and only chance of looking at New Bremen this football season. We'll get one other look at Versailles when they host St. Henry.
And New Bremen, quite honestly, is a very scary team to play.
Ask Coldwater. They were lucky to get out with a 14-7 win. And on the other hand, ask Lehman. They did not escape with a win. They fell to the Cardinals.
A team that has a very nice ball club in Sidney Lehman.
Pottist again carrying the ball for the Titans. Picks up a couple. We'll call it 2nd down and 8. 3:35 remains. You know, that drive just allowing the Bulldog defense a chance as Pottas takes the handoff and he bursts through. He's across into Bulldog territory. One man to beat, and he is going to be in for the score. It is a touchdown. About a 63-yard run. Well, just like that. After the Bulldogs strike for the touchdown to pull to within a 35-6, make it a 35-6 ball game, OG strikes quick. And now lead at 41-6. Kick is up, and this one is good. So OG leading this over the Bulldogs. Celina 42-6. Duane, what I was going to started to say before Pottus broke free was the fact that Celina able to put together sustain a drive, allowed their defense to stay off the field, but didn't really matter. Pottus breaks through the line and takes it 63 yards for the touchdown.
It's just kind of hard to figure out tonight.
Well, some scores being given from the Midwest Athletic Conference. Minster leading New Bremen, Marion over Versailles. Coldwater is also leading Parkway 35-7. Minster a point over New Bremen 7-6. It's 25-6. Marion over Versailles, and Kenton knocking off St. Mary's in the third quarter 36-0. Gagel returns that one to about the 23-yard line. That is where Celina will set up 1st and 10. 3:07 remains here in this third quarter. 42-6. OG leading Celina. And our game of the week. And we certainly want to welcome viewers on Adelphia Cable and Celina, Minster, and Versailles, as well as Greenville Public Access Television, Channel 3, on Time Warner. Caney rolls out, and it falls incomplete.
And you can't blame him on that particular pass, because that pass was right in the chest of the receiver.
Ryan Gagel, I believe, the intended receiver, and that fell incomplete.
And, you know, on that particular reception, it's we talked about it earlier, how Nick Rui does a nice job of getting his hands out away from his chest and catching the ball. And there's an example of the ball just getting in too deep into the chest of the receiver.
Well, with the football season winding down, we've got some interesting basketball matchups that we are going to have for you this fall. And nice catch.
Great catch.
Luke Larmore with that reception as he kind of did a little hesitation, let the defender pass in front of him, and then stepped in front of the defender to come up with that one.
Did a very nice job getting off the ground and going up and making the catch.
They are in OG territory at Ottawa-Glandorf's 40-yard line. 2:45 remains. Caney back to pass, and he is going to be dropped for a loss back to the 49-yard line, is making that stop Matt Rosengarten, as well as number 79 Jeremy Jones. Check that, Matt Burwell. I told you I need to get my glasses out. I went up one.
Sign of getting old, Mark.
Hey, I wear bifocals, so unfortunately. A minute 51 remains. Caney back to pass, breaks past one defender. Flag is thrown, and the reception, Brian Gagel, but that one may be coming back a holding. We'll have to wait and see.
The way you're reading some of these names, Mark, I'm concerned I might have to drive home.
And indeed, that was a hold against the Bulldogs. And where the flag is thrown, it's going to be It's marked off from about the 48-yard line. So a 10-yard penalty from there. The Bulldogs will have it at their own 38-yard line. So the reality that a 13-yard penalty, even though it's a 10-yard penalty. Second down and 31. The old cliche, second down in a country mile. We're close to that. A minute 22 remains. Third quarter of play. Caney looks to pass, has some time, going deep, and a lame duck, but
another.
He comes up
Great
with
catch.
it. Doesn't matter how it gets there, it's whether it's caught. And that one was caught.
Yes, it was.
He's a little short of the first down, though. To bring up a third down and 4 for the Bulldogs. When he initially threw it, it didn't look like it was thrown that bad, and then all of a sudden it just looked like a lame duck, a shot quail, a shot duck. Well, Caney is dropped in the backfield. And they are going to mark it at about the 40-yard line, which was the original line of scrimmage.
That loss of 6 or 7. When a ball's thrown up like that and you look and you see the flags just dead against the pole, you know it's probably not the win.
No. But like I said, doesn't matter how it gets there, it's whether it's caught. Well, we've completed 3 quarters of play here, and the Bulldogs manage a touchdown in the third quarter, but OG has expanded their lead. They now lead Celina after 3 quarters of play. It's Ottawa-Glandorf 42, the Celina Bulldogs 6.
Oliver Funeral Home, Greenville's only locally owned funeral home. Brought to you by Gilbert Feller's Funeral Home, located on Albert Road in Brookville. McCabe Painting Incorporated, professional service with guaranteed satisfaction. By Osgood State Bank, with locations in Osgood, Fort Laramie, Chickasaw, and Lakeview. Family Health of Darke County, located in Greenville, Versailles, Arcanum, and New Madison. By State Farm Insurance, your local agent Jim Gable, East Main Street in Greenville. And businesses and individuals can help underwrite the events that M. Bixler Video Productions airs. Contact us.
We are back here at Celina, or rather at Ottawa-Glandorf, as the Celina Bulldogs trailing OG. 42-6 the score. We head to the final quarter of play, and again we want to thank the both schools, Celina and Ottawa-Glandorf, for allowing us to come in here and tape tonight's ball game for replay. Caney back to pass, and he is dropped, and the Bulldogs are going to turn it over on downs. Then we want to say again congratulations to Nick Kuhlman and Kendra Meyer, the king and queen here at Ottawa, at OG, Ottawa-Glandorf High School, as it is homecoming here this weekend. Him hands the ball off to Pottas. Pottas gets it to about the 35-yard line. Rather, 45-yard line. You may have to drive home.
I don't know. I'm so far north of Darke County, I'm not sure I'd know how to get home.
Well, my brother used to live here in Ottawa when he taught at Celina. I can remember the year that Bradford made the playoffs back in the early 80s.
So it'd been 83, 84. No, 83.
Pottist again carries the ball. What a 4-yard pickup. 3rd down and 2. But I can remember coming up and going to many Celina basketball games when he was coaching there. In fact, we came up to, I came up to stay with him, and we went over to Lima Senior when they played Fostoria St. Wendelin in the playoffs. And a fumble, and OG has gotten it, but it's going to be a loss.
You know, we haven't seen that option tonight. We've seen a lot of the dive, but we haven't seen the option out of that.
Well, in the morning, I'll be making my way to Greenville Senior High School in a game that will not only be seen on Greenville Public Access Television, but also on Adelphia Cable as well, for a volleyball matchup between Greenville and Russia. A fair catch is taken by Lau, and you know what? I think he kind of regretted that he fair caught that ball. I think he wanted to run with it after he caught it, but realized he couldn't.
I was watching the contact on the punt.
.9:42 remains here in this final quarter of play. 42-6.
This is Celina's 9th possession of the evening.
The Bulldogs will have it at, looks like about their 21-yard line. Caney back to pass, and he's done a lot of the damage, and it is caught. Nice catch. Ryan, or rather Luke Larmore, he has been the go-to guy here in the second half.
I was going to say, if there's one positive for Celina tonight, it has been that. He's done a fine job catching the ball, especially this second half.
Enough for the first down as they have it at their own 43-yard line. 9.5 minutes remaining as Caney hands the ball off. Boniface gets it to midfield. Pickup of about 7. Second down and 3. Bulldogs in the no huddle. Under center, Caney. Again, the give is to Boniface, and he is snuffed at the line of scrimmage, so no gain on the play. Some interesting matchups basketball-wise. We will have the Celina-Greenville basketball game, both boys and girls. Also Coldwater at St. Henry in girls, Greenville at Versailles in girls, and Adelphia St. John's at St. Henry in girls basketball. We'll mention the boys in a moment as a little delayed draw there as Paul Hoon carries it, and he gets it enough for the first down. Some boys basketball games that we'll have. We'll have Coldwater at Versailles, St. Henry at Tri-Village. It'll be the first time that those two squads will have played since they played in the state championship game back in 1991. Caney back to pass. It is incomplete, just out of the reach of Homan. So it'll bring up a second down and 10. Some other matchups, Versailles at St. Henry, Celina at Coldwater, Russia and Houston, Marion at Greenville, and Coldwater at Fort Laramie.
Actually, St. Henry will be playing 4 or 5 different teams in Darke County with Versailles, Ansonia, Frank Moreau, Tri-Village, and Greenville. I've looked on all those schedules, and St. Henry is playing every one of those teams. So St. Henry is going to see a little bit of Dark County at least.
Caney breaks one tackle, gets outside, and it's in and out of the hands of Larmore, but right there to make a deflection was Nick Rui. A big reason why Larmore couldn't reel it in. Brings up a 3rd down and 10. 7:50 remains here in this final quarter of play, although on the scoreboard it still says 3rd quarter.
Speaking of scoreboards, that's probably one of the nicer scoreboards with the messages going across the top for everybody to see.
Well, Caney tries to throw, and he is knocked down just as his arms comes forward, so that will go down as an incomplete pass. And it brings up a 4th down, and Duane with the score 42-6, you got to think the Bulldogs will probably go for it here.
I would imagine so. So far, they've attempted 23 passes so far tonight.
I do not have OG with a pass attempt in the second half. Caney, and he is going to be dropped, and once again the Bulldogs will turn it over on downs. So 1st and 10, as OG will have it at their own 48-yard line. 7.5 minutes remains as the clock stops with the change of possession, and Pottas carries it across the 50 down to about the 46-yard line, so about a 5-yard pickup. Pottas has been the big back here in this tonight's ball game. He had 111 yards at the half unofficially, and he's definitely going to come close to that here in the second half, thanks to a 63-yard gallop for a touchdown in the 3rd quarter.
Number 5 with the carry. I don't know how many times he's touched the ball.
Derek Patrick carrying the ball that time.
Well, Mark, we just talked about at halftime how many weapons OG has that they can go to, and they've spread,
They've spread it out.
Yeah, when you look at the final statistics tonight, you'll see how many times different players have touched the ball and how tough that is to stop that many weapons. Nick Rui, we haven't called his name much this second half, but he sure had a nice first half.
3rd down and 4. The pass is complete. I believe that's their first pass of the second half, and that is caught by number 23, Josh Fortman. They get it to the 36-yard line as we are now under 6 minutes, so halfway through the final quarter of play. 5:50 and counting down. And the Titans elect to take a timeout, leading it, as we said, 42-6.
This event brought to you by the Made-Right Sandwich Shop at 125 North Broadway in Greenville. The Ansonia Lumber Company, 300 South Main Street in Ansonia. Greenville National Bank in Greenville, Ansonia, Gettysburg, Arcanum, and Bradford. Cox Insurance Agency, RB Cox Agency in Ansonia, Vinoy Cox Insurance Agency in Greenville. Homestretch Sportswear in St. Henry and Wapakoneta. By Montage Cafe on South Broadway in Greenville. And by M. Bixler Video Productions. For more information on underwriting, contact us.
We welcome you back here to Ottawa, Ohio. Ottawa-Glandorf High School, 42-6. The Titans leading the Celina Bulldogs here tonight. As we do have mass substitutions. At quarterback is number 14, Josh Ellerbrock for the Titans. Under center, takes a snap. Gives it to the first back through, who is also new, Joe Recker, carrying the ball. A pickup of a yard. It'll be 2nd down and 9 for the Titans.
You know, watching OG play tonight, Mark, they've been very impressive. They've got a nice ball club, and they've got a lot to be proud of.
Well, as we've said, they have proven why they are undefeated and why they are ranked in the top 10 in the state. Is carrying that ball, number 21, Brian Siebenek. No gain on the play. 3rd down and 9 for the Titans of Ottawa-Glandorf. Again, our congratulations to the homecoming queen, Kendra Meyer, as well as the homecoming king, Nick Kuhlman. Siebenek carries it around the right end. Gets a yard. Actually less than a yard, but we've got to give him credit for a yard. 4th down and 9.
And the official announcer made it real clear there, a short gain, so it had to be a positive yard.
Under 4 minutes remains here in tonight's Western Buckeye League matchup between the Bulldogs of Celina and the Titans of Ottawa-Glandorf. Siebenek again carries it and no gain. Check that.
Celina will get it.
It was not Siebenek.
Change of possession here.
I believe that was Kubinder that actually carried the ball, or was it Brad Kreinbrink? It was either, I know there was a 3. I'm thinking it was Kreinbrink actually, so no gain, and the change of possession gives it to.
Trying to count the number of Celina players out there, and it almost looked like there was one too many.
I think you're right, and I think they figured that out too. Well, a host of new Bulldogs in tonight, as well as Ryan Byers in at quarterback for the Bulldogs.
Number 46.
Carried the ball. Kelly Mallory. You can always tell when the new players come in because their uniforms are absolutely clean.
And it was a gain of a yard on the play.
2nd down and 9 for Celina as Byers takes the snap, hands it off, first back through, as we are now under the 3-minute mark here tonight. Looks like maybe a pickup of a yard. 3rd down and a long 8 for the Bulldogs. Again, we want to thank Dan Otten, the athletic director at Celina, as well as Al Lobenthal. I know I'm pronouncing that wrong, but please accept my apologies. Lobenthal.
Nice carry.
Pickup as Mallory carrying that and gets the first down.
And Celina will have the opportunity to look at game films and have a good week of practice and try to get some things turned around this upcoming week, going into next weekend's game.
42-6 is the score as the Titans leading the Bulldogs. With that reception is number 89, John Booger.
Loss of 2.
2nd and 11. A minute 45 as the clock stops as he was knocked out of bounds. Byers takes it, hands the ball off, and gets about to the original line of scrimmage. Eric Rose, I believe, carrying that ball. So a pickup of 2, a minute and a half remains, and it'll be actually a pickup of 3, as we're going to call it 3rd down and 9. Our next Celina ball game that we will have is not a football game, but rather a volleyball game. Chaminade at Celina. We will also be seeing the Greenville at Celina soccer game on Adelphia in, I believe, 2 weeks. On the Greenville Time Warner system on Greenville Public Access Television, that game will be airing sometime in November. The Greenville at Celina girls soccer match. Pass is complete. Booger with the reception, and he has the first down at about the 38-yard line. So with 22 ticks on the clock stops momentarily as they will move the chains. OG is going to improve to 6-0 and 5-0 in the Western Buckeye League. Celina, on the other hand, will see their overall record evened at 3-3, but will drop to 2-3 in the WBL. And they do not get the playoff, and that ends tonight's matchup. The final score here tonight from Ottawa-Glandorf High School: OG 42, Celina 6.
Oliver Funeral Home, Greenville's only locally owned funeral home. Brought to you by Gilbert Fellers Funeral Home, located on Albert Road in Brookville. McCabe Painting Incorporated, professional service with guaranteed satisfaction. By Osgood State Bank, with locations in Osgood, Fort Laramie, Chickasaw, and Lakeview. Family Health of Darke County, located in Greenville, Versailles, Arcanum, and New Madison. By State Farm Insurance, your local agent, Jim Gable, East Main Street in Greenville. And businesses and individuals can help underwrite the events that M. Bixler Video Productions airs. Contact us.
We welcome you back here to Ottawa, Ohio. 42-6 the final score. The OG Titans knocking off the Celina Bulldogs to improve to 6-0 overall and 5-0 in the Western Buckeye League. Celina dropping to 3-3 overall and 2-3 in the WBL. Duane, our coolest night, 59 degrees to end the season, and great football weather.
Beautiful evening to play football. There's really no wind. Very cool evening. Had a nice atmosphere. Celina brought a lot of nice people, and OG had a very nice crowd for homecoming, which you expect. But Celina really couldn't get anything generated this evening. And on paper, looking at this game coming in, you really would have thought it probably wouldn't have ended up 42-6.
But OG proving they are a team that deserves to be in the top 10, and I believe it's Division. I can't remember if it's Division 3 or Division 4, and I left all that information in my van. I have it. And and leave it out there.
Regardless, if you look at your schedule and you look at OG and you have to play them here,
and homecoming to boot.
It doesn't matter that it's Celina, it's anyone on that schedule. You're thinking, oh man, you kind of dread that week. And after watching OG play, they're a very sound ball club, and they have a lot of weapons, and they can do a lot of nice things. So, you know, any team coming into this facility playing against this team is probably going to be in for a real long evening.
We'll go ahead and take a look at some of the Bulldogs statistics here for the second half and for the game.
Okay, well, total yardage this evening, rushing the ball, they really just couldn't get anything going. They only had a total of 73 yards rushing. They did, you know, the biggest bright spot of the evening was their receiving. They had 220 yards total receiving on the evening, and Luke Lamar probably one of the biggest evenings for Celina. He had 5 receptions for 106 yards, and some of those receptions, you know, big ones in the second half, a 25, a 35, and a 30-yard reception. And a couple of those he really went up. He's kind of undersized as a receiver, and he kept plugging away all evening and playing hard and went after things. Passing, total 8 for 25. Probably some things that really hurt him this evening, 2 turnovers, 1 in each half, 2 fumbles, both fumbles you know, leading to a touchdown for OG. And really, Celina just couldn't get anything started. Celina had 1 lone score in the second half, moved the ball rather well, had a TD pass in the end zone, but could not convert on the extra point for their, you know, only points of the evening. Total of 10 possessions. Really, again, just couldn't get anything going offensively, but credit OG and their defense tonight, Mark.
Well, one play that Larmore that really stood out to me, a couple actually, occurred on the scoring drive for OG, or for Celina rather. One is where he let the defender, he kind of hesitated, let the defender move in front of him, and then he moved back in front of the defender, comes up with the catch. And then the other one, of course, Caney's lame duck throw, and he comes back and goes up and brings the catch, makes the catch.
Right, and give credit to Celina. I didn't think they in any way did any of their kids hang their heads or give up. I thought they continued to play hard. They just really, quite honestly, ran into a buzzsaw tonight, and give OG a lot of credit. And again, I really hope Celina has a good week of preparation and mentally can get some things back together and have a positive weekend next Friday night.
Well, looking at the unofficial tallies in the second half for Ottawa-Glandorf, we had number 20, Luke Podest, with 7 carries, leading the way with 94 yards. They had 146 total yards rushing in the second half on 18 carries. And we have just 1 pass completion in the second half. That just an 8-yard pass. So a total of 154 yards in the second half. Totals for the ball game: 318 yards rushing, 149 passing, 467 yards of total offense, and that's going to win every time.
Yeah, and that speaks volumes when you compare that to Celina's statistics and what they were able to accomplish. When you look at those yardage, just rushing the ball, that's pretty awesome for you know, an evening. And the number of people that touched the ball, Mark, that's one thing that, you know, we really haven't talked about, but there's a lot of different weapons on that ball club that people that, quite honestly, got involved and had the opportunity on any given play to get involved and touch the ball.
Well, Podest, he had 111 yards in the first half, 94 in the second half on 18 carries, 205 yards.
Pretty balanced.
Absolutely.
And an awful good evening.
Again, the final score here tonight, Ottawa-Glandorf laying it on the Celina Bulldogs, 42-6, the final score. Duane, any closing comments on this game?
No, not really. I just can't overemphasize that, you know, hopefully Celina regroups and has a positive week. And this one here, you know, put it behind them and just continue on. This is one game in a long season, and hopefully they can correct some things and, you know, get something positive next Friday night. Well,
next week we will be we don't have to go near as far next week as we did this week. Next week we'll be in Darke County at Versailles at Whole Field, where the Tigers will take on the New Bremen Cardinals in our game of the week.
Well, for such a long haul up here, it was sure worth it. I got to see a very nice OG football team that, in some ways compares to a Marion local ball club in our area that lines up in some different formations and spreads the ball around, and they do a lot of nice things, and they're very disciplined, and they're off to a great season, and I'm sure they would like to consider that they're not even halfway through their season, because I'm sure that their expectations of making a good run into the football playoffs is sure something that's very attainable for this school district.
No question. Again, the final score here tonight from Ottawa, Ohio. The Ottawa-Glandorf Titans 42, the Celina Bulldogs 6. For Duane Warvel and for our camera operator, another bang-up job by Mike Sees. I'm Mark Bixler. Until next week in Versailles, so long, everybody.